Your mind when you think of Jell-O. Jell-O is America's most famous dessert, and its fame is one that's comprised of many individual stories and associations. Maybe you think of the first time you had Jell-O, or your favorite flavor, or of a Jell-O salad that ends up at every potluck and family reunion you attend. Whatever your association, today I would like to give you a little more insight into the history and mystery of this product we all know and love. When I selected my speech topic, I didn't know more about Jell-O than the average person. But in the time since then, as I've researched, I've been surprised at the rich history of this simple boxed dessert. So today, I'd like to give you a closer look at the how of Jell-O, how it was created, and the who of Jell-O, some of the diverse people that have enjoyed this one-of-a-kind treat throughout the years. Let's start with Jell-O's creation. Over 100 years ago, in 1897, Pearl Waite created Jell-O in his home in Leroy, New York. According to the Jell-O Museum website, the 4 original flavors were strawberry, raspberry, orange, and lemon. It's interesting that 2 of the original flavors were red. In a survey I did of 20 Omaha area grocery stores, I found that the red flavors are by far the best selling, strawberry topping the chart and cherry coming in a close second. And indeed, it's the flavors that set Jell-O apart from the other powdered gelatin desserts on the market at that time that were tasteless and required other ingredients to be added to make a complete dish. Originally made in a kitchen in Leroy, New York, today Jell-O is made at plants across the United States. In her book published in 2001, author Carolyn Wyman relates that 90% of powdered gelatin is made in Dover, Delaware, where they produce 750,000 boxes of Jell-O a day. If you stacked all those boxes on top of each other, they would reach over 11 miles high. Despite its humble beginnings, Jell-O became a massive success and took root in American culture. Having introduced you to Jell-O's creation, I'd like to introduce you to some of the people that enjoyed it throughout the years. Picture yourself as a child arriving in Ellis Island. The year is 1921. Your lengthy journey has left you weary. Your departure of your homeland has left you saddened. Your new and unfamiliar surroundings have left you frightened. You're pulled from your sad thoughts by a woman with a warm smile and a rather suspicious orange substance. You're skeptical until your tongue is greeted with a sweet sensation, Jell-O. According to Jell-O's website at craftfoods.com, Jell-O was served to immigrants entering Ellis Island in the early part of the 20th century as a welcome to America. It was an appropriate welcome to America because Jell-O is an all-American food. Immigrants to Ellis Island weren't the only non-Americans to fall in love with Jell-O. Let's look now at a group of Russians that became avid fans. In 1996, the crew of the Russian space station Mir ate Jell-O every Sunday night. Originally served by astronaut Shannon Lucid on Easter Sunday, it was a smash hit and became a Sunday night tradition. Shannon Lucid is even quoted as calling gelatin the greatest improvement in spaceflight since my first flight over 10 years ago, according to craftfoods.com. Finally, I'd like to share with you my favorite story of Jell-O that took place not in space, but here on planet Earth in the country of Great Britain. In 1969, Dr. Adrian R.M. Upton set out to prove that the electrical signals given off by hospital personnel and hospital equipment could throw off EEG readings. In her 2001 book, Jell-O Biography, Carolyn Wyman relates that Dr. Upton believed that the flat line required by physicians to pronounce patients brain dead is almost impossible to achieve in a hospital setting. The method he chose to test this hypothesis? He hooked an EEG machine up to a mound of lime green Jell-O. He chose Jell-O because its density and consistency are almost identical to that of the human brain, and he chose lime because he thought the green would be more photogenic. The results of the EEG from the Jell-O were almost identical to that from a healthy adult human being. Dr. Upton made his point, and physicians now take interference into account when monitoring their patients. As you can see, Jell-O has had many diverse uses throughout the years. As we've journeyed briefly through its history, looking at its production, creation, and consumption by immigrants, astronauts, and even its use as a scientific testing ground, I hope I've given you a little more insight into this familiar product, and you'll never look at a bowl of Jell-O quite the same way again. I'd like to leave you with one final thought. In its 100 years of history, Jell-O slogans have hailed it as many things. The dainty dessert, the light snack, the refreshing dessert, America's red letter dessert, what being a kid is all about, and the quickest way to find a smile. Whatever you call it, remember Jell-O's 1964 slogan, there's always room for Jell-O. Thank you.